What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. In this video, I'm going to be doing a penetration test with my snub-nose 44 Magnum revolver, and I'm going to be shooting some Underwood Ammo jacketed hollow points at Douglas fir 2x10 lumber. And the purpose of the test is to see how much lumber this 44 Magnum snub-nose revolver can penetrate through with these jacketed hollow points. And the ammunition I'm using is just some Underwood Ammo 240 grain XTP jacketed hollow points. And these have an advertised muzzle velocity of 1,500 feet per second. And I've chronographed these loads out of my snub-nose 44 Magnum, and they travel at around 1,250 feet per second out of that 2 5/8 inch barrel. And this is what that load looks like. This is an XTP hollow point. This is basically the same XTP that Hornady uses. This is a Hornady brand bullet, but it's basically a supercharged version. Underwood supercharges it and adds another 200 feet per second. And this load has a lot of recoil, basically the same amount of recoil as bear loads that I shoot out of this revolver. And this load can generate close to 900 foot-pounds of muzzle energy, which is pretty impressive when you consider all of that energy being generated out of a 2.6 inch barrel. And so the revolver I'm using for this test is my Smith & Wesson model 629 Performance Center. It has a 2 5/8 inch barrel, so it's a very short barrel. I've had this one for a couple of years now. It's not rated for plus P, but you can shoot heavy 44 Magnum loads out of it, but not plus P. And I have these beautiful custom night sights that were made by Tool Tech Gun Sight out of Michigan. So we're going to see how many pieces of lumber we can penetrate through with these Underwood Ammo XTP loads. And we're going to compare the results of this test with the results of other tests that I've done with the 44 Magnum snub-nose. And the way that I set up these 2x10s is I cut them to 1 foot lengths, and I put screws in each corner, okay? And I screw them all together, and I make like a giant block. And then once the test is over, I unscrew them, and I go through each board one by one to see how many boards the bullet penetrated through. And after we find out how many boards this load can penetrate through, I'm going to recover the bullets. We're going to take a closer look at the bullets to see what kind of expansion occurred, how much weight they retained, and what kind of deformation occurred. So stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy the video. All right, guys, so we got the Underwood 240 grain XTP with an advertised muzzle velocity of 1,500 feet per second. All right, guys, so I want to go through the results of the test with you pretty surprising results with these Underwood Ammo 240 grain XTP loads. So these loads were able to penetrate through 4 Douglas fir 2x10s, and that's pretty deep for a soft point expanding bullet. And I managed to recover one already, and looks like this one, what happened was I think it hit another bullet, and that's why the base got all mangled up. But what's interesting, looking at this bullet closely, this jacket is pretty thick on these XTPs. And so this thick jacket, I'm trying to bend it, and I have strong grip. I used to do powerlifting competitions when I was younger, and I trained my grip, and I'm trying to bend this copper, and I can't bend the jacket. It's pretty thick, okay? So I think that's why these XTPs were able to penetrate through so much wood, because the jackets on them are just so thick. And I believe Hornady makes them like that on purpose for big game hunting, because a lot of these XTP bullets are marketed for big game hunters using big bore revolvers, so they need controlled expansion. But this jacket is just super thick for a handgun bullet. Just really impressive construction on these XTP bullets. So I want to go through each board one by one. So here's the first board. And so these were my shots right here, 1, 2, 3. And I think one of these was the one where it hit the other bullet, because the point of impact was just so close. And ignore these shots. These are from the 500 Magnum double taps 400 grain hard cast test that I did at the same time. So you can ignore those. All right, so there's our 3 shots. And here's the exit holes. On the first board, you can see not much of an exit hole here from these 3 shots. All right, 3 bullets passing through here, and that tells me that the jackets on these XTP bullets are pretty thick, because they didn't start expanding at all in that first board. And then here we have the second board, and you can see this massive hole here from these 3 bullets, okay? And whatever gets hit by that is going to be bleeding like crazy, and this is just going to do a massive amount of internal damage. I mean, look at these wound channels, okay? And this is wood too, all right? Wood is harder than flesh, so imagine what this would do to flesh. Look at that wound channel, guys. Massive holes. Here we have the entrance holes on the third board, and I actually found one of the bullets stuck in the fourth board, and it penetrated the third board, but 2 of them went through 4. Okay, here's the back of the third board. All right, and here we have the fourth board. Okay, and so one of the bullets got stuck in the fourth board here, and then the other 2 kept going. And then here we have the fifth board, and you can see 2 bullets here stuck in the fifth board, okay? And both of them in a nose forward position, which is what we want to see. So I'm going to pull these bullets out now. We're going to take a closer look at them. We're going to weigh them, see what kind of weight retention they have. So stay tuned. All right, guys, so here are the bullets. Underwood Ammo 240 grain XTPs. Smith & Wesson Model 629 Performance Center with the 2 5/8 inch barrel. So this was the one that I showed you guys earlier, okay? And I think this one struck another bullet that was in the wood. That's why it got all messed up, all right? But here are the other 2. These were the ones that penetrated through 4 2x10s. And check this out. Pretty interesting expansion here. It looks like it kind of like flattened out, or one side expanded, but the other side didn't. So pretty interesting. And this happens a lot when you shoot wood, because wood is not the same as living tissue. You know, you have different variations in the grain, which are going to affect the way a bullet expands and so on. So this is pretty good expansion, though, I would say. And the other one actually lost its core. So look at that, guys. Here's the core, the lead core, and here's the jacket. So pretty interesting. This jacket is pretty mangled up. Check that out, guys. So looks like the velocity was enough from this snub-nosed revolver to initiate expansion, because, I mean, if this happened to this bullet, that means that it was going pretty fast. But look at that jacket material. It's quite thick. It's a pretty thick jacket. So pretty interesting. And here's that lead core. Okay. So pretty interesting, guys. These XTP bullets normally don't lose their core. This is actually the first time I've had an XTP bullet lose its core. So pretty interesting. I guess first time for everything. So I got my calipers here, and we're going to just measure the expansion as best as we can. So here we got this one here. This was the best one. So this one expanded 0.646 inches. So that's a good amount of expansion there. And then on the flat side, 0.427. So really didn't expand much on the other side, but pretty interesting. And then this one, I mean, I'm not even going to bother measuring it. So I'm going to get my reloading scale now, and we're going to see what kind of weight retention we got. But what's really interesting is that these penetrated as deeply as Underwood Ammo 305 grain hard cast bear loads, Buffalo Bore 300 grain hard cast bear loads, and some full metal jacket ammunition. So pretty interesting, guys. I would love to repeat this test against water or some other type of media, which I think would really give a better understanding of what these bullets can do in living tissue. But I'd say they penetrated pretty deep. I was not expecting this much penetration for Douglas fir 2x10s. That's a lot of penetration for a soft point 44 Magnum. Most soft point 44 Magnums penetrate around 2 or 3 2x10s at the most. So this is actually the first 44 Magnum soft point or hollow point or expanding bullet that I've tested that actually penetrated as deeply as a bear load. So pretty interesting. So I'm going to get the reloading scale now, and let's see what kind of weight retention we got. All right, guys, got my 100 gram weight here. Make sure the scale is zeroed out. Looks like we're pretty much zero. And let's weigh this one right here. This was the one that held together the best. We got 221 grains. So I'd say that's pretty good. Only lost 20 grains or so, or 18.5 grains. That's pretty good for a hollow point. So let's check this other one. And this one got really badly deformed. I think I hit another bullet with it. 231.4 grains. So that's pretty good. And then here we have our cup and core. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place them both on the scale. 229.9. So pretty good. I mean, all of these retained a lot of weight. I mean, this one you can't really count because, you know, the jacket's separated. But check that out, guys. That looks crazy. That jacket just looks crazy how it just completely lost the entire core. But pretty thick jacket material. So that's pretty much it, guys. I think I'm going to repeat this test with some other type of media. I'm going to test this ammo and use this revolver maybe with some meat or some water and see what happens. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you want to see some of my other 44 Magnum content, check out my 44 Magnum playlist, and I'll leave a link at the top right corner of this video. And if you're interested in seeing some of my other 2x10 penetration tests, I'll leave a link at the top right corner of this video as well to my 2x10 penetration tests playlist. But that's all for now. Take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere.